Good morning, afternoon or evening. Today I'll be looking at the new update which was released on the 26th of November. This video I will be doing a giveaway of a War Selection country code. All you have to do to enter is comment on this video with your Discord tag, and the winners will be drawn on Tuesday next week. So, getting straight into it, the main change is that replays of multiplayer matches cannot be viewed by anything but the replay code. So normally in War Selection you could be able to view your last played match, but I believe now you can only view the last match if you save the code. So you're going to have to remember to save the code more often now, I think. Bugs that were removed or changed, or fixed even, sorry. You can't give resources anymore after you die. That's quite a big change because before you could have people with mines giving iron infinitely to players. I've not actually had this issue, but it seems to be in the map editor that environmental objects such as trees, I'm guessing, getting removed when the camera moves. When viewing a replay as before, you could hear all of the pings from the enemy team and your team at the same time. That's been fixed, and some other bugs. For Stone Age, slinger damage increased from 8 to 9. I'm assuming that's with the upgrades, so that's quite a big buff for the slinger. It's not building damage, but against things like warriors and macemen it will be more effective. Early Asia, so that's Bronze Age and Iron Age. The reserve time for archers has been reduced by 4 seconds. It's a okay buff, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. Heavy archers reserve time reduced by 5 seconds, and the price reduced from 125 to 80-20. And the arrow spread reduced, so it's more accurate. That's quite a big buff. I don't know how useful the heavy archer was before, I never really use it, but it's getting 2 buffs now consecutively. Medieval Europe, that's both west and east. Mounted crossbowmen, they attack 0.5 seconds quicker, and they're 2% more accurate. That's a decent buff. The mounted crossbowmen I only find a great use for sniping artillery pieces, so you make like 5 or 6 of them and go snipe onagers from the enemies. That's what I use them for mostly. Penarch damage to buildings increased by 3. That's quite a considerable buff, but because it's low armor and slow speed, I don't know if it's still going to be useful. The Dragoon, time between attacks reduced by 1 second. The Dragoon is, the biggest issue with it is, I think, the accuracy. And the fact that it takes 2 population because it's on a horse. Its accuracy is so low it doesn't really hit, but the more bullets it fires, the higher chance of hitting, so I guess this is quite good. For the Industrial Revolution, trench mortars attacked 1 second quicker, and the projectiles are 2% more accurate. That's another quite large buff, the trench mortar. Hopefully we'll be able to see it back at the days when it used to be meta. Military balloons, damage increased from 12 to 15, and aircraft damage increased from 15 to 17. This is the balloon with the machine gunner, so this is quite a nice buff, as the machine gunner balloon was never really widespreadly useful. It's quite good against machine controllers and small raids of planes, so it's alright. The military era stat, time between attacks reduced by 1 second, so this basically means that the bomber balloons are more powerful, as at the moment they're rarely used, I think. Well, not rarely, but makes them more useful. And for the Wonder of the World added spread influence, increased control, and propaganda upgrades. So the spread influence and increased control, that's the territory size upgrades that everyone gets. They've now been added to the Wonder, so you can get them, if you don't get them in IR2, you can go up to the Wonder and get them then. And with the propaganda, I believe that's just for Russia and the Soviet Union. So when you go for Wonder, you can now get the propaganda upgrade there. For India, wheeled tanks time got a buff as well, a 1 second between attacks. Quite a considerable buff to a wheeled tank already, quite powerful unit. Turkey, the mortar, not the unit, not the building. Time between attacks reduced from 12 to 11, so that's a 1 second decrease in between shots. It's another buff. It recently got an attack buff, and I think an accuracy buff in the last update, so maybe that's going to start getting used more often. Germany, the pillbox health increased by 200 from 800 to 1000. Quite a big update, because the pillbox at the moment is quite tanky, but this is going to make it even more tanky. The heavy pillbox, time between tower attacks, so I believe that's the cannon on top, not the machine gun, reduced from 10 to 7 seconds. So that's quite a big buff, as that cannon pillbox is relatively weak at the moment. Flamethrowers, unarmored flamethrowers do not take fire damage, so these are going to be the perfect counter to Chinese militiamen in the early game, or any sort of medieval infantry. You just make 5 of these guys, and you can blob them up and do whatever you want. They won't kill each other like before. Armored flamethrowers also take no fire damage, but that's already happened. Armor on average is reduced by 0.6, so it's a small nerf, but armored flamethrowers are pretty powerful by themselves anyway. Really the only things that can hard counter them are tanks, so quite good. Now for France, the FT-17 damage reduced from 70 to 65, so the FT-17 gets a small buff, nerf there, sorry. The Farman Goliath, price reduced from 900 to 300 700, so that's 200 less wood, which is quite a decent buff, but I don't think it's too expensive anyway, so maybe they'll just attract more people to make them. And the 2C, which is the unupgraded heavy tank for France. Sorry, I don't play France very often. The number of population is lowered by 2 from 16 to 14, so that's going to be quite a big buff for heavy tanks, which you can actually rush. I've seen some people do that. For Russia, the anti-aircraft Tachanka, price reduced from 600 food to 500 food, 500 wood to 400 wood, and the iron cost stays the same at 100. This is quite a nice buff, because the anti-air Tachanka, I've never actually seen anyone use it properly, so that's quite good, and its training time has been reduced by 15 seconds, so you can get them out more rapidly to respond to maybe balloon attack. For China, the soldier shot damage increased from 20 to 22, a decent buff there. The soldier's going to be more useful as an actual distance range combatant. The Type FT damage reduced, that's to match the French FT-17 I think there. Japan, light trench mortar, time between attacks reduced from 7 to 6.5 seconds, and it's made 2% more accurate. Basically the same buff the trench mortar got, the normal abstract trench mortar, but that's quite nice because the light trench mortar is more valuable now anyway. Fugo, health increased from 200 to 220. Fugo's biggest issue was that they get countered really easily with just some AA guns, or some soldiers even, so the more health may let it survive a bit longer. And the Sentoku's time between attacks reduced from 16 to 14 seconds. I believe that's the torpedoes, not the Sakura Blossoms or anything, so torpedoes are buffed to the actual submarine itself. That's quite good. And the thing I'm most interested here, Poland's buffs and nerfs. Tankette KD, that's the upgraded tankette, the one with the cannon, damage reduced from 100 to 75, but the time between attacks is reduced from 5 to 4. So the damage overall is not lowered by a significant amount, but the damage done in one shot is lowered by 25, meaning that heavily armoured targets are going to be much harder to kill with it. So heavy tanks might be a decent counter for Poland, supported with some submachine gunners, and that might be a decent counter. But now they'll be slightly better against buildings, as they'll fire more often, and weak armoured units. Dragon's Teeth, health increased from 300 to 400. That's nice, makes them a bit more unique than just a reskinned and changed price anti-tank trap. And finally, the Stone Mine, income decreased from 70 to 60 for everything. I think it was like for every 4 seconds. So quite a big nerf for it there, but it's still very much usable. And that's all this update. So thank you for watching, enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.